I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carry. Now I entertain a motion to convene to close session per 19851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for purposes of discussing city administrator recruitment and salary range.
Alder Rolte will move to convene to closed session for the reasons read for 19851C.
Alder Finkler will second.
Okay, I have a motion from Alder Roque and a second from Alder Finkler, sorry, to convene to closed session per 19.851C. And we need a roll call on that. I will do that. So Finkler,
Aye.
Gray,
Aye.
Motif,
Aye.
Steiner,
Aye.
Roque.
Aye.
Okay, we are in closed session. So before you, you have the There we go. Sorry. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Columbus Common Council meeting of Tuesday, June 6th of 2023, and also welcome to those that are streaming online. Michelle, could you take roll call?
Hammer,
Here.
Finkler,
Here.
Gray,
Present.
Motif,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Rolke,
Present.
Steiner.
Here.
Okay, and we have had notice of open meeting,
Yes.
and I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Oh, sorry. I missed that. Sorry about that. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Now I'll give you a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Alder Motif and a second by Alder Finkler to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion regarding the agenda? Okay, then all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved. Okay, citizens' comments and correspondence. Do we have any correspondence other than the people that have signed up that anybody is aware of? Okay, then I will get on to the citizens' comments. We will have a 3-minute time limit for those willing to speak. We first have Kate Bender. So if you could state your name and your address and come up to the podium. Yes, please.
Push
And
the button that looks
I
like
think
a
David
face
is
with
actually
the-
going to turn it.
Oh.
David's got it on.
Good?
so,
Oh,
yep.
okay. I good? All right. Hi, my name is Kate Bender. My husband, and my 2 daughters live at 544 South Lewis Street, and we have been residents of Columbus for 8 years. I have never attended one of these meetings before, but I wanted to come today to represent my family as firmly rooted allies to the LGBTQIA community, and to also request that the mayor and council approve a pride flag to be flown during the remainder of Pride Month. I also apologize for not making my support known sooner, as I, and I now know many others in Columbus, were under the impression that the city had progressed beyond this being a yearly issue that needed to be discussed or approved after last year's flag raising. I do trust that you received and read the emails from these other community members that could not be here tonight. I believe that Columbus is a diverse, loving, and accepting community at its core. As someone who has organized several fundraisers in town, I have seen this firsthand. Through these efforts, I have met people from all walks of life, people whose beliefs differ drastically from mine, yet who have all come together to put good out into the world. I have seen strangers help strangers and judgment thrown out the window for the sake of just being kind. I feel privileged to have seen Columbus at its very best. I myself have friends, neighbors, and family members who are part of the LGBTQIA+ community, and I know that we have many respected community members who also identify as such. These people pay taxes, they contribute to our town in numerous ways, and they deserve to see themselves represented. Many are children who desperately need and are so worthy of feeling protected and acknowledged by the city in which they live. There's a quote from Robin DiAngelo that says, "Exclusion by those at the table doesn't depend on willful intent. We don't have to intend to exclude for the result of our actions to be exclusion. So let's be willfully intentional. Let's be clear about our inclusion. Let's put some more good out into the world, as I personally know we can do so well. Let's be Columbus at its very best. A flag hurts no one. No matter your personal belief, there is no harm in sending a message that Columbus embraces, respects, and supports every member of our community, and that those members can feel seen and safe in our town. This is the message that I would be so proud to display for my children, for my visiting friends and family members, and for everyone who passes through our beautiful city. Thank you so much for your time." Do I need to stop the mic?
No, that's fine. And next up, we have Karen Wheelock, if I pronounced that correctly. And if you could state your name and your address, please.
So my name is Karen Wheelock, and I live at 555 Richmond Street with my husband. I am an ally to the LGBTQIA plus community, and I am here to request that the pride flag be flown by the city for the rest of the month of June this year and in the years to come. So I grew up in Delavan, Wisconsin, which isn't much bigger than Columbus. Most of the kids that I went to school with that identified in the LGBTQIA community didn't come out until after they graduated and had moved away. I think there's a reason for that. This issue was never talked about in my hometown, and they didn't feel accepted or safe. I recently asked a friend of mine that fits this description about how she would have felt if our hometown recognized the pride flag. And here's what she said. I was thinking about how to respond, and then I saw this quote, and it captures my feelings perfectly. I don't wear rainbow items to tell you who's in my bed. I wear them so that the family across the street knows that they are safe, so that the couple in the restaurant know that they're not alone, so that the boy that sees me notice him looking at dresses knows that I won't judge him. I wear pride because you make them hide. My friend went on to say, as somebody who grew up in a small town, seeing things like the pride flag or trans flag would have given me a great deal of comfort. It would have told me that I'm not just tolerated but supported, and not just supported but celebrated. Not for who I share a bed with, not for what my genitalia looks like, but for being a human being. I would also like to add that it is really about safety for many folks as well. Seeing a pride flag or another signifier lets folks know that a person or business or company or town is a safe place for them to be. This is especially important with all of the anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation that is happening in many states right now. Another friend of mine who grew up in Sun Prairie said, hanging the pride flag is about the most American thing that someone could do. It's about visibility, and I cannot express how differently the world might have felt for me as a child growing up seeing that flag. I have many, many friends that identify in the LGBTQIA plus community, and they are some of the kindest human beings that I know. They have faced adversity their whole lives just because of who they love or who they identify as. I worry most about our youth. Let's show them that we are a supportive, welcoming community so that they don't feel the need to hide, and they would be less likely to move away from Columbus to seek refuge in a more accepting town. Let us be that accepting town. Thank you.
And then next we have Kathy Elling. And if you could state your name and your address, please.
Hi, my name is Kathy Elling, and I live at 650 South Charles Street. I'm here in support of raising the pride flag, like we did last year, which gave me great joy. I've lived in the town now for over 25 years, and I've raised my three wonderful children in this town, and I'm very proud. I'm proud to live here, and it's a very accepting town. I've tried to teach my kids that who you love isn't what's in the outside, it's what's on the inside. And I'd like to think that our town could be a representative of other towns, or to show that we support everybody. I realize that in this room there are people who have very different views than I do, and I respect that. I come across lots of different opinions in my everyday life, and I think we spent in the last couple of years a lot of time tearing each other down, making fun of each other, and raising a flag is a safe thing to do. No one has to change their belief system. No one has to do something dramatic. It's a gesture. It's an olive branch. I've tried to impart that, with my children. Love comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, and people do too. This is a chance to show the best of our community. And I hope that we can do it, and I hope it becomes an annual thing. It's like having the American flag at the 4th of July, having the pride flag on Pride Month.
Okay, then next we have Darlene Marks.
No, we're just visiting because you can't get it on 980.
Oh, okay, okay, your names were down. I didn't know if you wanted to speak.
I thought everybody had a second.
Oh, okay, okay,
We just want to see what's going on.
okay, thank you. Yeah. And next up would be Katie Nichols, so if you could then, again, state your name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Katie Nichols. I live at 649 West School Street. I'm here tonight to ask our city council, please make a resolution to fly the unity flag for our city. To see this flag flown from my hometown last year gave me joy, hope, and pride in Columbus. I was deeply disappointed on June 1st when Pride Month began and our city was silent. Not our citizens, of course, but our capital C city. I'm happily married to a man, so day to day I enjoy the privileges that come with the perception that I am straight. But I'm also a happily queer person. Growing up here in the 80s and 90s, I didn't have the awareness or language to understand why I felt different. Like many people of my generation, I didn't come out until my 20s. I'm telling you this to remind everyone here tonight, everyone listening to this, that you don't know the whole story of the people in your life. This flag is very likely inclusive of someone you know, maybe even someone you love. I'm not asking you to fly this flag for me, though. I'm asking you to do this for our children. Our youth who feel different in this way need to know that their hometown supports and respects them and accepts them. These young people exist in this community and deserve our love and respect. I have some statistics. These are courtesy of the Trevor Project, a nonprofit that provides crisis services, advocacy, research, and education around LGBTQ+ youth. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 24. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning youth are at significantly increased risk. LGBTQ+ youth are more than 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their peers. The Trevor Project's national survey of LGBTQ youth found that 45% of these youth seriously considered attempting suicide in the past year, including more than half of transgender and non-binary youth. Key protective factors for these seriously at-risk kids include social support and acceptance from adults and peers, affirming spaces and activities, and policies and practices that support transgender and non-binary youth. So I ask each of you tonight, will you help? Will you do this? Please make this symbolic gesture to show Columbus is a safe and affirming space to call home.
And last, we have Adam Pulver, is it? So name and address, please.
My name is Adam Pulver, 348 Chapin Street in Columbus. I'm speaking today in support of the measure to raise the pride flag in town and issuing the related proclamation supporting LGBTQ+ Pride Month. My family and I attended last year's ceremony, and it was a lovely show of support for an underacknowledged but growing part of the city's population. The ceremony is a tradition we should continue to maintain. Like Betty in Columbus, I have several friends and family members who are gay and or transgender, many right here in town. They're all wonderful people, and my life is better having them as part of it. Through them, I have a better understanding about life in the LGBTQ community, the joys, the struggles, being scrutinized and attacked simply for being. This is a community that needs support now more than ever. This year has seen a slew of harmful and hateful laws passed in this country, taking away basic rights, threatening to separate families, trying to deny or outlaw the existence of gay and trans people. The optics of Columbus changing course and no longer showing its support sends a message the city can't afford. In a country where gay rights has overwhelming support and more Americans are becoming comfortable coming out as who they are, there are real consequences to turning our backs. Companies in states with anti-LGBTQ laws report struggles with recruiting and retaining employees and a drop in tourism. We're an increasingly diverse city that needs to draw people into the community to shop at our businesses and work at our companies. Supporting LGBTQ pride makes it clear that we welcome everybody to Columbus, that we actually live up to small town values of friendliness and taking care of each other. Flying the pride flag sends a message that everybody is accepted here, marking us as a destination where everybody is free to shop, work, and live. Again, I ask that either through council action or mayoral proclamation that this measure be approved as soon as possible and that we continue to support Pride Month annually. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So now we will move on to the consent agenda, and the information is in there regarding the council and committee of the whole minutes, picnic license for the summer concert series, and the fireworks permit for the 4th of July celebration. And I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Alder Motive will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Alder Roki will second.
Okay, I have a motion from Alder Motive and a second from Alder Roki to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda approved. And we will move on to new business. And first item of business is to consider and take action on changing the council meeting dates in July and August. So the first Tuesday in July is the July 4th. And before Kyle, City Administrator Kyle Ellison had left, and we had discussed just with staff that possibly pushing the meetings back 1 week. So our July meetings would be July 11th and July 25th. And then National Night Out is the first Tuesday of August. So there again, there's 5 weeks in August where if we pushed it back 1 week, we would stay in that rotation to get to September if we wanted to go with the 2nd and 4th of Tuesday of July and the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of August.
Then we'd still have that extra week in between.
And the extra week would be in between, so. So I would look for a motion to go with those changes, if that's acceptable.
All right, I will attempt this and see if I have the dates right. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Alder Finkler will make a motion to move the July City Council and Committee of the Whole meetings to July 11th and 25th, and for August to the 8th and the 22nd.
Alder Roki will second.
Okay, I have a motion from Alder Finkler and a second from Alder Roki to approve moving the meeting dates in July and August, July 11th and the 25th, and August 8th and the 22nd. Is there any further discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor of approving moving the July and August meeting dates, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those dates are approved. Next, we will consider the Class B alcohol license for licensing period July 1st, 2023 to June 30th of 2024 for Cardinal Lanes. The issues that were with this have been resolved. So I would entertain a motion to approve the liquor license.
Alder Roki will move to approve the Class B alcohol license for licensing period July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for Cardinal Lanes.
Gray will second.
Okay, I have a motion by Alder Roki and a second by Alder Gray to approve the Class B alcohol license for licensing period July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 for Cardinal Lanes. And all those, or any further discussion on this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, license is approved. Now, item number 3, consider the Class B alcohol license for licensing period July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 for Tea Time Wine Bar and Bakery. And this issue has been resolved also, so this is clear to be approved.
Oh, it has.
Yes.
Alder Motif will make a motion to approve the Class B alcohol license for Tea Time Wine and Bakery for the licensing period of July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024.
Reed seconds.
Okay, I have a motion by Alder Motif and a second by Alder Reed to approve the Class B alcohol license for licensing period July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024 for Tea Time Wine Bar and Bakery. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? License approved. Okay, now we will consider and take action on the city administrator salary range as discussed in the closed session of the special committee of the whole meeting. That salary range would be $115,000 to $130,000.
Alder Motif will make a motion to approve the position description with the addition of the increased salary range of $115,000 to $130,000.
Alder Gray seconds.
Okay, I have a motion, excuse me, motion by Alder Motif and a second by Alder Gray to approve the administrator position description and the salary range of $115,000 to $130,000. Any further discussion on this item? This would be a roll call? Okay.
We're not spending any money. This is not a roll.
It doesn't have to be? Okay. Okay, well. Yeah, let's do a roll call for the heck of it. Yeah.
Gray,
Aye.
Motif,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rolke,
Aye.
Steiner,
Aye.
Finkler,
Aye.
Hammer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do I vote? I don't vote on that. Sorry.
All right.
That's why we need to practice.
Yeah. All right. Item number 5 is to consider and take actions on the claims in the amount of $382,065.59. So could I have a motion for approving the claims?
Alder Motif will make a motion to approve the claims in the amount of $382,065.59.
Alder Finkler will second.
Okay, I have a motion by Alder Motif and a second by Alder Finkler to approve paying the claims in the amount of $382,065.59. Any further discussion on this item? And we will have a roll call for that.
Motif,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rolke,
Aye.
Steiner,
Aye.
Finkler,
Aye.
Gray.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carries.
So item number 6, report of city officers. Our interim city administrator is here, Chris Schwartz. Is there anything you care to mention?
Do that all.
It's on.
It's on?
Yeah, David got it.
Oh, thank you, David. Again, I want to thank the mayor and the council for giving me the opportunity to serve the city of Columbus. I'll really look forward to this and to be a very enjoyable summer, I'm sure. So thank you again.
Okay. Brandon, is there anything that you need to add? No, you're good? All right. Thank you. Just a couple of things. Alder Finkler and I attended the Gov 101 presented by the League of Municipalities. Very informative and very great presenters that put it on. You know, I was a little leery. Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it was amazing. 4 p.m. came up just like that, and it was very informative. And you know, as you had said, Adam, it was just a wonderful experience to go through. I'd like to recognize the passing of two of our dedicated firefighters just recently, Earl Steinhorst and Fred Dart, two very great gentlemen. Earl, you would see him around in his pickup truck that said this is his girl's inheritance for Fred Dart. In the past 4th of July parades, you would see Fred driving around in the little fire truck car or whatever, and his Fred's saying was, if you asked him how he's doing, it was finer than a frog hair. And we never found out how fine that frog hair actually was. So just two wonderful gentlemen. The dairy industry in Wisconsin is a vital part of our state's economy. So please indulge in milk, cheese, ice cream, and custard this month, and every month. And then also, with this being the last day of school, I would like to thank all the crossing guards for helping to keep our children safe as they cross the busy highways and roads in our town. Columbus has 5 major highways coming through the city, and they do a wonderful job keeping our kids safe. And that's all I have. So now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Alder Gray moves to adjourn.
Alder Finkler, second.
Okay, I have a motion by Alder Gray and a second by Alder Finkler to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Do you want to take a little break? Anybody need a
Like
little
5
break
minutes?
before she? All right, we'll take a 5-minute break before we start the committee of the whole meeting. So.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to tonight's Columbus Common Council Committee of the Whole meeting for Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. That is 7:03 p.m. And if I could please get Michelle to take a roll call.
Reed?
Here.
Rolke?
Here.
Steiner?
Here.
Finkler?
Here.
Hammer?
Here.
Gray?
Present.
Motif?
Present.
All present.
Okay. And we have the meeting was properly noticed? Yes. Okay, thank you. And if I could get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Alder Motif will make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Alder Finkler will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And did we have anybody signed up to speak at this meeting?
There wasn't anything on
Nothing,
there.
okay. All right, if there's anybody left who would like to speak who was not able to during citizen comments at the first meeting, we will still have a 3-minute time limit. If you could just come forward and state your name. No? Okay. In your packets, you will find the committee and commission minutes for the Cable Commission from 10/5/22, Senior Citizens Advisory Board from 5/4/23, Tourism from 3/6/23, and the Utility Commission from 4/20/23 and 5/3/23. Moving on, we have review alcohol and tobacco license application for La Latina Mexican Store LLC. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that?
One comment is, in one of the comments is that they, at the time, they had not heard back from the fire chief, but I just confirmed we had heard back and everything is good. So,
I'm comfortable moving it forward.
Okay? Yep. Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
Great. Then moving right along, we have the review of Resolution 5-23, 2022 Compliance Maintenance Report.
And Tony is here from, in case anybody has any questions for him, so.
Required to submit the CMAR report to the DNR by June 30th. The report's a self-eval tool that promotes owners' awareness and responsibility for wastewater collection and treatment needs. It measures the performance of wastewater treatment facility during the calendar year and assess the level of compliance with the permit requirements. Basically, the actions we're requesting of the council is review and approve the CMAR for 2023. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you for all the great work that wastewater has done. Columbus
Thank
is
you.
very lucky to have
Katie will be glad to hear
the
that.
skills that we do.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Oh, no. Yeah, I also just wanted to thank them for maintaining our A all-around average. It's just so impressive that how they've kept it up. Woohoo!
Any other questions, comments? Everybody's comfortable moving this forward?
Yep.
Okay. Next on the agenda is review the beautification fundraising request. And I have Paula Steiner here to talk about that.
It's on.
It worked. Yay. So at the last meeting, I was able to come during citizen comments and kind of give you guys a brief synopsis of what we're looking at doing to raise funds for the beautification committee. Nothing has really changed from that point. We'd like to offer a art contest where people can pay $40 to decorate a barrel. The only thing that we've kind of tweaked is that there was concerns about liability with the type of items that could be potentially put on there, so we'd like to center it around the 4th of July theme, which is Celebrate America.
Any questions, concerns?
I do have, I just want to clarify with Attorney Johnson. Can we make it central like that it has to be 4th of July, being that we're a government entity?
Paul, don't rain on my parade.
Wrong one, thank you.
You're on, you're on.
I'd be better off if I wasn't on. Well, you can certainly run, You can certainly run a contest with a theme on a publicly owned trash barrel. The problem will come up if you have somebody who decides to go outside the lines. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but you can certainly try to keep this theme-centric if you can. We'll have to deal with that when the time comes. It's the best answer I can give you right now.
Attorney Johnson, is there any potential disclaimers that we could attach to this to help further protect the city?
How much time do you have? I don't.
We need money, man.
Yeah. I think that if you're going to try to have a contest, and that's kind of what you're doing?
Loose term, contest in snooze, fun, I mean, you know, so.
You're not having a contest.
There's not a judging or anything like that.
Okay,
Yes.
you're selling space on barrels for the purpose of creating trying to follow a theme.
Yeah, more trying to follow the theme and also beautifying the parks with more current artwork.
Yeah, you're. I can foresee a problem if you try to stop somebody from expressing their opinions outside the lines.
Okay.
Just because this is it's a government trash can.
Oh, absolutely, and you know, there's
So-
always gonna be naughty people out there, but
there is.
I guess my concern is there anything that we could add into that current flyer that would give further protection?
Not really, because it's the act that the municipality will be doing to stop the speech before it starts is actually worse than if you try to fix it afterwards.
Okay.
So I think if you want, I'm certainly not opposed to you doing this, but you just have to be mindful of what you might run into.
Okay.
Alderita, I saw your light
Oh,
on first.
thank you. Yeah, I had a couple things. First one was along those lines. Just wondering if you can have a blurb of designs should be of a wholesome nature. Just throwing something out there. And then I had two questions. What are these barrels like? Are they metal ones like in this image?
I apologize. So the whole idea came through as one of our community members walks through Fireman's Park on a consistent basis. So they are really just those plastic barrels that are ugly as sin.
Okay. And then my following question is, are we going to suggest what kind of paint people should get? I mean, is there a specific kind of acrylic or what have you? What is actually going to attach onto plastic pretty well? Do we need to pre-paint on them to get a nice coat that some more average paints could stick to? Just little things.
Okay, and Alderita, I totally get where you're coming from, especially knowing your background, you know, the mediums on creation and things like that. We wanted to kind of, because we're such a new committee and we don't have a lot of manpower, we wanted to kind of keep it, putting it more on the people who participate versus us, because a lot of these people that would be participating would hopefully know that or maybe speak to an art store. That is the hopes, but if you would like us to add that, we're not opposed to that at all.
I don't know if it needs to be on the main flyer, but we do need to have a recommended type to put out there, and we might need to prime the barrels.
We as in the committee, or we as in the person painting it?
Either.
Okay.
But they'll probably need some primer.
Okay.
Alder Finkler?
How long are we intending to keep the barrels painted?
until they wear off.
Depends on if they're prime.
Has there been consideration on the theme due to that and maybe making a more generic of a theme that isn't potentially controversial or that has a little bit more lasting?
Impression? I understand where you're going with this, and initially our first thought was keeping it a little bit more general, and then it was brought to our attention that there were concerns about liabilities and naughty people and not being able to really do anything if they purchase this space and they decide to make something just gross.
Right. I think you'd have less risk with a flower theme or something like that than you would American flag potential theme that could be placed in a certain direction and mean a certain thing.
Well, and that totally checks. It's just with the 4th of July coming up, we thought it would be a nice way to help celebrate with the committee.
Fireworks? Then just fireworks? I mean, I'm just worried about it being, looking odd in September having a 4th of July theme. It's kind of like, you know,
Well-
if you're in a neighborhood and somebody has all their Christmas decorations up into March, people are gonna be like, whoa, they still have all their Christmas decorations up and it's March. So I'm just, that's my concern, not to sound weird.
I was like, I won't take offense because some of our lights are still up.
No, lights are fine. I'm talking about the decorations.
But I guess the one thing when you look at like the basic theme of the 4th of July committee is Celebrate America. When does that actually ever go out of style? When is that inappropriate to be celebrating our heritage and where we come from?
Depending on how it's done, yeah. I mean, that's my only comments on it, so I don't know if Ian, I know you.
Actually, can I just ask you a question, Paula?
Sure.
'Cause was your intention, based on what this says, to have people submit a design for approval before they're given?
Initially, yes, but we were told that we couldn't do that. So that flyer has not been updated because we needed to speak to you guys beforehand.
Alderman Moda?
What about long-term maintenance on these trash cans? I mean, as the paint wears down, is it going to be the city's responsibility to have to replace them because they look bad or paint over them? So it's going to be our time and energy on our budget?
Okay. So this kind of got taken off into a different direction, and I can completely respect where you guys are coming from, but there is also another committee member in that group that every week they rent out a rock at her school and it gets repainted. So if that were to come up and let's say one of the barrels is looking a little ratty, then it's open back up to someone else painting it. It's a continual fundraiser for a group that has literally no money.
Alderman Gray?
So, and I apologize, I am on the committee and I've had a lot of changes lately, so I haven't been as present, but that will change going forward, so thank you so much for covering for me, Paula. I'm kind of in line with Alder Finkler on this, I agree there is no inappropriate time to celebrate our country or our heritage, but I do believe that can easily be a topic where people do get into the weeds a little bit more and do get a little more controversial. So I don't know if that's the best for a public space. I think like a nature theme or a flower theme or something that is pretty and next to impossible to be controversial would be a lot more long-term and sustainable.
You go nature and you're going to see pot leaves. I mean,
That is, I mean, what is it, like 67% of our country believes it should be legal, so that's far less controversial than what politics could ever be. So,
I don't know, it would offend me if I saw it, but.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I think something of that nature probably would be easier, and it isn't seasonal, it's not controversial. That or an age limit on painting the barrels could also limit obscene things happening. Like if this was something for children to do, I think that could also keep it a little bit more safe. Trina. Our school teacher says that doesn't. But I don't know, just ideas to like help keep it not getting out of line.
Just food for thought.
Otherwise,
based on-
I'm good.
Okay.
You know.
I was just going to say, Paul was holding up the Cardinal sign that the banners are going to be, given how close the park is to the high school football field and baseball field, could they be like Columbus themed or like Cardinal Pride themed or something like that?
We do have 2 other schools in our community though as well. So, I mean, it's whatever you guys want. Like legitimately, the only thing we're looking to do is increase the funding in our account. So if you guys want us to jump through 5 hoops, we'll do that.
Alder Steiner?
Do you know how many barrels you have to paint?
No, I do not. We walk through the banners.
Well,
but
I
do
know,
not
we go
walk
through the banners, we talk about stuff a lot, but I don't see much of an issue with the theme. I don't see many people causing problems with the theme. The odds are going to be extremely small. If we have, how many barrels are we talking about here? Maybe 10, maybe 20. I mean, if you get 5 people and they want to paint a barrel, I mean, you're still missing part of your barrel's not painted. The number of people that are going to create something offensive or inappropriate is going to be small. And like I said, if we don't like it, we pack it away until we absolutely desperately need it, and you can paint over it again, clear it out. You cover that problem when it comes up. This seems kind of silly to have this constant argument of like, what can we paint on here? That's what the beautification committee's for. They can decide, and we can just say, I think that's okay. If they're going for something very specific, obviously it's a little inappropriate, but I don't see anything wrong with America, one way or the other. It's really, I find it difficult to find something offensive about it, but maybe I'm on my own over here, but I think it's okay. I'm totally for it.
Any other thoughts?
I agree with Alder Adam, or Alder Steiner. Yeah, either way.
He answers to both.
The theme of celebrating America, it's I don't care what theme that you're going to pick. Somebody's going to draw something that you can draw flowers, and we've seen how kids have drawn some things and they don't look like what they're supposed to look like, and so I feel stay with the Celebrate America theme.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm fairly indifferent on the theme. I think this would be a fun activity. I just don't know how well it's going to work. It's just going to be a little tricky. When I've seen some other community barrel type projects, they were generally on the barrels had the flat sides. And then, so it was almost like a natural picture
Canvas.
window kind of thing that they were able to do. So this is going to be a little different, especially if people are providing their own materials. It's just going to flake right off, most likely.
Okay.
I can't recommend this moving forward at this point. I think it needs to be vetted a little bit further on your end. I'd really like to see an MOU with the city that actually clarifies that you guys will be taking care of the garbage cans for the long term so that we're not having to put our resources into either replacing them or repainting them if for some reason you don't continue on with the project. And I'd also like to see something that says that it's an ongoing project. The way this looks right now, it's just summer 2023.
Just one quick thing that I think could help quell everybody's anxiety over it is instead of painting directly on the barrel, what if we did like a sheet that had some sort of like laminate coating that we attached to the barrels? Then it could be removed, it wouldn't flake off. If it was inappropriate, we don't attach it.
Exactly, and that's
just have a contest of people painting or coloring these sheets. We laminate them and attach them to the barrel.
Something like that is what you guys could go back and vet and think through and then bring back to the committee of the whole to approve.
So you want me to go through the song and dance again?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, hey, Sarah, the thing is.
It just has to go through your.
If you like beautiful things in our downtown, like the flowers that were just hung and the banners we're working on replacing, those things all come at a cost.
I understand
So
that, Paula, and
I'm
I
hoping that
understand
you
that
will
you're
meet us
doing this
halfway.
as a fundraiser.
And we're
But you
volunteers.
also have a committee who needs to speak to this as a whole. And there may be somebody other than you who has an idea of how to move this forward.
It's all about compromise sometimes.
What direction are we looking at here? Do we want to send this back to the committee? Are we looking at, do we want to move forward with the laminate idea? I've heard a couple of different things here, so.
I'd like to send it back to the committee to vet it.
I just want to make a comment on the laminate idea. It will probably cost more than the $40 they will be getting for a barrel. So I just,
That and who has the resources for that?
yeah.
It makes it less of a community project.
It
My-
was just a trying.
I mean, it would be great if like they would, whoever wants to do the barrel would pay for that to be done. I mean, I'm all for fundraising activities. I'm just concerned that it's city property. I'm concerned with the theme, and I'm concerned with it not having a plan to continue this. I know you mentioned keeping it going, and once one starts deteriorating, sell it again, or, whatever is the case, but doesn't state it in here.
Yeah, that's a promotional flyer that we were hoping to get out prior to school ending.
And I want specific paint noted that needs to be used on it, because if it starts peeling in 2 days, that's a problem. If it's really pretty, we want it to stay, but, those types of things. Otherwise, I mean, I don't have a problem with fundraising or doing it. I just think there's some loose ends that need to get cleaned up on it.
One other quick idea of how we could clean up all of the loose ends and stop worries. How about instead of a contest of painting a barrel, you raise money by sponsoring a barrel? It could be an annual fee, it could be a permanent fee, whatever you decide, but you sponsor a barrel, so then the upkeep and continuing painting it is yours because you sponsored it. So we could even, with sponsoring it, put their name on it, so that if it's ugly, they're gonna want to keep it up. No, I mean, these are just ideas to help get rid of everybody's fears. So like, if your name's on it, you're not gonna want it to be lewd, or most likely, fewer people would. If your name's on it, you're not gonna want it to deteriorate and flake, you're gonna want it to be permanent. So if we sponsor a barrel instead of having a painting contest, pay to sponsor.
I like that idea.
Again, those are ideas that need to go back to your committee as a whole to discuss and see if everybody's in agreement on it. So there are lots of options, is all we're saying.
So we're all in agreement that this needs to go back to the committee. Okay. Moving on then, review recommendation for beautification committee for downtown banners. Paula, did you want to speak to that one as well?
I think Brandon did an excellent job laying out what the banner looks like and what we're proposing. If there are further questions, I am here to answer them.
All good.
Is everybody comfortable moving this one forward? Trina, you got it.
Oh, goodness. Although I find the Carnot well-drawn and very intense, I really don't see it as appropriate for welcoming people through town. The bird looks extremely angry. He's wearing what would colloquially be called a wife-beater shirt, and his hand gesture is that he's getting ready to punch someone. It's not. Yeah. I love this picture, like, for T-shirts for high schoolers. I think that'd be awesome. But as far as the representation of our town and how we want people to perceive it, I feel very uncomfortable.
Okay, if this design does not happen, we will be losing $1,000 from the school district. So I'm just putting that out there. You guys can do what you want, but that's $1,000 left. So if anyone wants to write the beautification committee out a check, that'd be awesome.
I think Trina had some good points, and I think we need to be conscious of those. They're things I didn't pick up on, so thank you for bringing them up. Is there any way to alter it in any way so that
Well,
her
have
concerns are?
you ever worked with an artist? I mean, do you know any artists?
Yeah, I do. I know plenty of them.
Okay.
Please don't take offense to our open discussions, Paula.
I'm not taking offense. I think
are.
you're overcomplicating things.
No. Yeah. All we're asking is there a way to make changes on here to some of those things so that it is potentially less offensive?
Okay, what changes would you like? I can speak to the 18-year-old artist and see if she'd be willing to alter her work. So just the shirt, Trina, or no fist?
Yeah, this is a tough one. There's a lot going on. I don't know if could zoom in on the head and just that we can't really tell what's going on with the shirt and there's no hand gestures. But frankly, I want to see some more pieces. I love how we had the contest years ago, a variety, not a large variety, but some really, really nice ones came in.
And do you remember that was like
It was,
pulling teeth?
yes, it was difficult. It was
Yes.
very difficult. And the timing now is horrible with school being out.
Yep.
I mean, $1,000 is a really wonderful donation, but there's also the cost of looking really immature for everyone that passes through town.
When it comes to artwork, artwork is subjective. It's personal opinions. You know, remember watching a show of Bosom Buddies where Kip had drawn beautiful landscapes and all that. Another guy had a white square with a red circle, and all the art critics were oohing and awing over the red square or the white square with the red circle. It's the Japanese flag. You know, again, it's perception. It's how you see things. I'm not seeing what Trina is seeing. I'm just seeing, you know, Charlie Cardinal.
Celebrating their championship
Yeah.
last
So
year.
I mean, okay, if you want to, the face, if you want to make a nicer and more inviting face, so be it. But I honestly don't see anything else wrong with what's been presented. So.
I just want to say, I think it's a great piece. It shows a representation of the pride that we have in our school, in our high school. Charlie Cardinal is a big image there. Cardinals are used in a lot of different facilities and different school districts. The school district had a really good sports year this past season. They went to state championships with their football, and they do pretty good with most other activities. I don't follow it very much because my kids aren't in high school yet, but everything here just kind of shows that that Columbus is strong. It's got a lot of pride in it. It promotes the school. It may look a little mean, but that's how sports are played. It's a competitive situation. This represents the school and its strength and its capabilities. I think it looks really good, and I don't think it's going to be offensive or just off-putting to anybody. It's going to show that this is what we like. This is who we are. We're here. We're tough. We're for everything. I mean, I think it looks good, but subjective.
Oh, and I mean, I am going to apologize. I wasn't trying to be disparaging. I just had to say something. I did share the image with individuals, you know, in Sun Prairie and Madison, and the response was shock and laughter.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Schwartz, did you want to speak?
Oh, no, I was,
Okay.
I'm sorry if I,
Oh,
I'm sorry. Apologize that.
There you
To me, I'm going to have to agree with Adam on this one. I think, this is very similar to what we see in storefront windows during homecoming week on parade floats.
This was the yearbook cover last year.
Yeah. I know that our town loves a good champion story, as somebody with a high school aged kid who had a son playing football this year. People turned up for those games and for the parades. To me, I think it's a really nice rendition by a local youth artist who we should be celebrating as well. That's my opinion on it.
If you want to take a poll, who wants to move forward or not.
Sure. I guess who would be comfortable moving this forward as is? Aye.
Aye. Maybe ask each one
Okay.
individually.
Trina?
Nay.
Okay.
Aye.
Is there an I don't know?
Molly, what are you on the fence about?
I can see both sides.
Yeah.
I can see both sides. I can see it's aggressive, but I can also see that it's pride and it's being proud of winning. I mean, if we're talking state football champion. If we're talking state football championship, I mean, my daughter's the manager, one of the managers of the football team, and she was pretty dang proud of it. She's got a mini trophy in her room and everything like that, and they were the underdogs. So I get that whole part of it, but I also get the aggressive nature of it, and I just, I don't know, I'm trying to run through my head how many cities I've been through and their mascots, and do I really even judge their mascots when I go through this city? You know what I mean? I guess I'm.
If it makes you feel any better, the banners that we're currently utilizing, the ones that are currently deteriorating on the poles, have a 3-year lifespan. So this would only be
going to be a question. How long? Okay. 3 years. And you said this was the yearbook picture?
From last year.
From
yes.
last year?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I can see it going either way, but I don't know that it's a sword I'm willing to fall on, so I'm fine with it going through.
Right. The majority says we can move this one to the next regular meeting. Moving on. Thank you.
Do you guys want any revisions? Or no, just as is?
I think
Okay.
as is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next up, review the library crosswalk request. Did we have anybody who wanted to speak on that, or Brandon, did you? Yeah.
So in your packet, you'll see a memo that Kyle had put together, as well as a letter from the Library Board of Trustees. They point out, how busy the library is and how small their parking lot is, how few cars they can fit in there. A lot of people do park either in front of City Hall in Dickinson or in the back in the employee lot, and they walk across the street using Dickinson and Spring Street. They are asking the city to install crosswalks with the solar-powered flashing lights. It sounds like both crosses, so that would be the question of, is both really necessary? Would one of them be okay? I think we would want to get the opinion of the engineer, the police chief, and even the DOT, because this is a state highway. I know we have some leeway because it's just a connecting highway to our street, but they do worry about the traffic, and that is one of their concerns. So there are other concerns that we could go through, but I think that's a good starting point for now. I will add that they have no plans for funding. They are currently asking the city to contribute 100% of the cost.
Do we have the funds?
not budgeted for this year, no.
Yeah, how much is it gonna cost?
There is no cost included in their request.
Then I strongly agree that we need this in this place. This is something that we had vetted before with potential use of ARPA funds. But I would like to have this brought back to us with a cost and then look at how we can fit it into next year's budget potentially.
Alder Gray?
The other thing is, at our previous meeting, we were discussing the parking along the street out front here as well. So if we are going to do something with that and that gets ripped up, if we put in brand-new powered crosswalks there, they might get ripped up and we might have to redo them again. So I think we need to be a little more holistic on our approach here and look at the cost, the funding of that, and whether or not we're going to redo parking in front of like for these few blocks. I think it's foolish to do any one thing before we know what both we're doing, otherwise it could cause problems.
Alder Reed?
Oh, thank you. Initially, the library board was wanting to request a crosswalk in the middle of the street from the parking lot across the way to the library. But then upon discussion, realizing it was a state highway, it would be very unlikely to gain permission for a crosswalk in such an ideal location. Yeah, it's just been an ongoing concern of so many kids going back and forth all the time, and hoping that if there's some sort of blinking lights, anything to help catch the driver's attention, that it would just increase safety. And there's, no way for the library to come up with cost. That would be on our end to figure it out, or our end to farm out for cost to be brought in.
Alder Finkler?
I am all for this, and these crossings do work. I mean, when they're blinking, people stop. My only concern is how much it's gonna cost and where that money is gonna come from. There's no questions about doing it, it's just cost for me. And timing, right. Yep.
If we're gonna rip it up, then we shouldn't do it and then rip it up.
Right, I don't want anything to be put in and then tore back up.
Okay, so my understanding with this is that these would be installed on the utility poles that are already existing out here. So nothing is going to get ripped up.
I was thinking the street flashing.
No. These are like triangular signs with the pedestrian, and then you push a button and then there's flashing. They don't have to necessarily be solar. Because there would be, we'd have to talk with the utility, but there would be a means, I think, of hooking in to the power that's already there. So that lowers the cost tremendously by not being solar.
In that scenario, I would just want to see the cost before we do
Yeah,
anything.
so we'd definitely have to do more investigation, but that's what it was, is installing those particular signs on the utility poles that are already out there. Yeah.
Then I think we need to know the cost, but
Yeah.
if we can afford it and find the money, then awesome.
So we're all in agreement that this should be sent back for a little more information
Yeah.
on cost, and then to be possibly factored in for the budget cycle upcoming?
So my only other caveat with the putting it back to cost, I would also like to see if there's any savings if we do more of them, because like on Ludington and Park Street, what's that street? Farnham in Ludington, like the kids crossing there all the time, and even throughout the day during the summer, there's people crossing that street a lot too. I think that would be another really good spot for something like this is, where I mean, like the Ludington by Farnham, and probably down by School Street too. I think those would be just as viable places. I think there is as much or more traffic on that street. So if we're looking at it here, I think we should look at the cost of putting it there as well, and maybe if we're doing more of them, we can save per
Can I
unit.
tag on that? I know that before Jerry left the DPW, he actually had a report that specified which streets needed it the worst. Perhaps that's something you may be able to find while doing this research?
Alder Finkler?
I just have a quick question, comment. I'm not sure what it is, but is there any potential that, kind of piggybacking off of adding additional ones into the city, that this would help curb designated dangerous intersections? Because I know that there is a dangerous intersection off of Tower Drive, down the hill, around the curve, that crosswalk there, and kids from that area are bused to school because there's no crosswalk that can be there. So I just don't know if this is something that could assist in areas that are deemed dangerous and we can't get crossing guards for, that we can't get crossing guards for, or anything like that. I don't know the answer to that.
I think that's a great idea, because we struggle getting enough crossing guards.
Yeah.
If we had more things like this, it probably is less expensive than paying a crossing guard. Not that we want to not have them or not pay them, but
We have areas we
it could be a
can't
great solution to
get
our
Again,
issue of not having crossing guards.
If we can find that report, all of that is in that report, Brandon. It was brought forward to the CDA, so we could go through to the CDA minutes as well and try and find it there too.
Alder Reed?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, depending on what costs come back, I would have a strong preference for putting in the signals this summer. It's the library's busy season, tons of school programs for them. I'd really prefer not to wait if the costs are not unmanageable. I feel like we could probably find it if it's, fairly small. And I think it should be pretty affordable if we're just wiring it into the system already there, but we'll have to find out.
It's a roadway thing, you never know. Only cities buy them. If only government entities buy something, it's expensive.
Brandon, do you have enough information? Okay. Then we will move on to reviewing Alder request to declare June LGBTQIA plus month and raise the pride flag. Alder Gray?
Thank you. So I will have one small amendment to this. I apologize. I wrote it out of pretty hastily, pretty quickly. And I did not remember or think of including the specific verbiage of actually raising the flag. I was just, expecting that to be part of celebrating Pride Month. So we will need to add in the last section, the now therefore be it resolved. After month, comma, between month and, we should add, well, actually, I suppose there's a lot of people here that did it. I'll just read the full resolution and then add in the amendment. So, whereas the Common Council of the City of Columbus, Wisconsin welcomes and encourages diversity and inclusion in our community, and whereas June 28th, 2023 marks the 54th anniversary of Stonewall Uprising in New York City, which sparked the gay rights movement, and June is the nationwide month to recognize the LGBTQ plus community. And whereas celebrating Pride Month raises awareness and provides support and advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community, and is an opportunity to become educated, engaged in dialogue, strengthen alliances, and build understanding. And whereas while there has been remarkable progress toward acceptance and equality, members of the LGBTQ plus community continue to face discrimination, intolerance, and hate. And whereas we must commit to supporting and accepting LGBTQ plus individuals, in particular our youth, who compared to their peers are far more likely to experience violence and bullying at school, to suffer from depression, to struggle with substance abuse, and to have attempted suicide. And whereas we must remain vigilant in deterring oppression and discrimination against people on the basis of sex, gender identity or expression, or sexual orientation. And whereas by protecting the rights of every individual, we enhance and strengthen the value of everyone throughout our society. And whereas we affirm our support for the LGBTQ plus residents in our community and stand with them to protect their civil rights and their ability to live openly, equally, and without fear. And now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Columbus, Wisconsin, on this, the 6th day of June 2023, that the Common Council recognizes and supports this month of June as well as all future months of June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month, and the Progress Pride flag will be flown at the city's, at the Civil War Memorial Statue on the intersection of Dix and James Street. And we urge all residents to celebrate and build a culture of inclusion and acceptance during this month and every month.
Alder Steiner?
I want to start out by saying I have absolutely zero problem with anyone in the LGBT community. I know lots of people that are homosexual, gay, whatever you want to say. I have a sister-in-law that is. I've dealt with a lot of people like that, and they're all good people, all good friends. But I do not believe that any government entity, be it state, local, or federal, should hang any flag that is representative of a specific activism group. This flag, while it includes anyone in the LGBTQIA plus whatever else is on there, it may include all of them, but everyone else that's not in that acronym is not included. We don't hang flags for Black History Month. We don't hang flags for Women's History Month or any other history month or the Latin community or anyone else. So if we're going to do this, we should include everyone in there. I'm pretty sure America has a flag that includes everyone. It's hanging behind me. It represents all the people, not just specific groups. If you want to have an event, have an event. You want to have a parade, have a parade. If a private residence wants to hang a banner in their flag, in their room, in their house, on their front lawn, so be it. Go for it. Do it. I support it completely. As a government entity, we represent everyone, and it shouldn't exclude anyone from anything. We should only have the one flag that we need that represents America as a whole and the community as a whole. We represent the Constitution, everyone's rights. Not just everyone's civil rights, not just women's rights, not just Black rights, not just gay rights, everyone's rights. I do not believe that we should support hanging a flag just for a specific month, for a specific marginalized group, because we represent everyone at all times.
Mayor Hammer?
I agree with Alder Steiner. It's, I again have friends from the LGBTQIA community, and that doesn't deter my love for them or my respect for them. But again, we have a flag that represents every citizen of the United States of America. And to, again, as he had said, hang a specific flag, you are setting a precedence then. Because there are going to be groups that are going to want to fly a flag for whatever reason. Many people are offended by the Confederate flag. The Confederate flag was developed, and it was not about slavery. It had nothing to do with slavery. It had to do with states' rights. But as time went on, it got associated with slavery. But if somebody wanted to fly that Confederate flag, we have the obligation to fly that flag because we've set a precedence. Every person around here, every community member that wishes to do so can hang a pride flag at their own house. That's the great thing about living in the United States. You're given that right. I personally have a German flag that I fly occasionally at my house because of my respect for my German heritage. It never goes above my United States flag, but it's at my house. And that's how I believe we need to handle this. You could have, there's nothing stopping that community from going out to Fireman's Park, Meister's Park, or whatever park and holding a celebration for the day, and that'd be great. But it is not the government's responsibility to look at one faction over another.
Alder Gray?
Thank you. I am going to ignore some of the comments from the mayor and simply request that we get the will of the council whether or not to move this forward.
Okay. Alder Reed?
Oh, thank you. I can't believe I'm leaning towards Steiner's. My initial reaction was happiness when I saw the proposal. I was like, oh, this is wonderful, this is great. But then my afterthought was, oh, all of the groups we have not and will not be acknowledging. And then I became a little concerned. I definitely want to have the acknowledgements for June. I'm just really feeling on the fence of the appropriateness and the precedent setting for raising the flag.
Alder Gray?
Oh, sorry, I'm just still on. Could we go to a roll call vote?
Yeah.
You have
Oh,
city
Paul,
attorney over there.
sorry.
The only thing that I want to add to the conversation is that this is not necessarily an all or nothing situation. You can, and perhaps should, draw a distinction between the part of the resolution that deals with raising the flag and the part of the resolution that deals with acknowledging Pride Month. They are two completely different things. They are two completely different actions. They do not need to be tied together. The concerns about raising the flag are legitimate concerns, maybe. You will notice that the city of Madison and the state of Wisconsin have absolutely no problem flying the flag, and but the question that has never come up is what happens when one of the undesirable entities wants to do the same thing. Now you're getting back into the trash can argument from before. So this does not have to be an all or nothing, and they can be separated out if you so choose.
Before going to the will of the group as a whole, then I guess, Alder Gray, since you were the one who drafted the resolution and the inclusion, would you want to keep them together, or would you want them separated?
I think they need to stay together.
Okay.
I don't believe that flying a flag is excluding anyone. It is showing inclusion and it is showing support. It is not meant to exclude anyone. The Progress Pride flag is actually much more inclusive if you're familiar with it, and it is the flag that I donated to the city last year that the city still has and would fly again. It shouldn't be as controversial as the topic nowadays, as it obviously still is. And the debate of flying it just boggles my mind that we would even think about why can't I even think of the Southern flag now? It's
Confederate.
The Confederate flag. We were never a Confederate state, and it would honestly in many ways be treasonous for us to do so because it would be anti-American. It's just an absurd thought and a very ignorant statement to begin with. So I would like to not get too far into the weeds because I will get a little more abrasive as I do so. I would like to keep it together, and I will make a motion for us to move forward the resolution of support of the LGBTQ plus Pride Month as read.
Alder Finkler will second.
Okay. Would we want to do a roll call vote for this one?
You can do whatever you want. So.
Michelle, can we do a roll call vote?
Steiner?
This is for raising the flag, right?
For the
Not just
resolution.
recognizing.
This is for.
It's for both, I believe.
Thank you.
Finkler?
Aye.
Hammer?
Nay.
Gray?
Aye.
Motive?
This is hard for me, but I have to recuse myself. I work for a religious entity, and if I make a statement on a social issue like this, I've been told that my job will be at risk, so I must remain quiet.
Reed?
I don't know. I guess I'll recuse at this point.
And Rolke.
Aye.
All right.
That is a majority.
We have 2 that recused,
And not 3 to
2 nay, and
All you're doing at this particular moment is trying to move this forward to the council
Yeah.
for final approval, so you'll have another kick at the can at your next meeting.
And it just takes a majority of council to move it forward, so it's been moved forward.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is to convene to close session per state statute 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investment of public funds, or conducting other public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically to discuss potential developments in the city of Columbus, specifically 146 North Dickinson Boulevard. And I would entertain a motion to convene to closed session.
Alder Motive will make a motion to convene to close session per 19851E.
Alder Finkler will second.
Okay. And Michelle, could I have another roll call vote, please?
Finkler?
Aye.
Hammer?
Aye.
Gray?
Aye.
Motive? Reed?
Aye.
Rolke?
Aye.
Steiner? Carries.
It is.
Elementary schools in DeForest and Windsor and Madison and Prairie, our city can't.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we will not be coming back onto the air tonight. Thank you, everybody.